It's an interesting shirt also, by the way, Brian.
Thank you, Ray.
Is it laundry day?
What's up, fight fans? Welcome to the UFC 225 SB Nation MMA post-fight show brought to you by Laundry Day.
My bad, dude.
No, that's cool, man. The shirt was $5 at the Walmart.
Don't throw me under the bus.
Come on, Eddie, the man just had a child. Every day for the next 12 years of his life is going to be laundry day.
That is absolutely true so far.
That's what you should have said. You should have been like, yeah, I'm a dad now. It's my dad's shirt.
And after 12 years, then you just give up and, like, the filth just consumes the house for your teenage lifestyle that you're forced to live with now.
We're already fighting that urge.
Yeah.
But anyway, about what we're really here for, Eddie Mercado, Mr. Laundry, Zane Simon and myself, Flying Brian J, are going to recap UFC 235, which was a really good card on paper, a decent card in practice, and ended with a one-sided dominance that included a 2-point deduction for a foul. That was pretty strange. Zane, what do you think about this whole thing?
Well, it has to be said that kind of the clincher for this card, like when you had the Woodley Usman fight, where especially with Usman winning, like it had to be a 5-round kind of a grind. The clincher for what was supposed to make this fight awesome was Jones just tearing Anthony Smith to pieces and like doing something cool and highlight worthy. Jones kind of putting in like a very staid, very understated, very just like, I'm just gonna, you know, basically pull little parts off this guy, like kind of, you know, start out cutting toes and fingers off and just dissecting him. Like, it made for a weird night of fights.
Yeah, not all that enjoyable. You know, there was the potential Rocky moment. There was the potential, I think, was it you, Zane, on the MMA Vivisection, where it's fights like this for John Jones, where you give him a really beatable opponent that elevates his level of greatness. So like he can go out there in style, like Anderson Silva did to Forrest Griffin.
Yeah, or like, you know, you have like the Anderson Silva Yushin Okami fight or something like that. This was kind of more like Jose Aldo Mark-Hominick, not a terrible fight in the Jose Aldo legacy, or maybe more like GSP Dan Hardy. Not a terrible fight in the GSP legacy, but like you were supposed to just go out there and absolutely crush the dude.
But the same thing was said about OSP. Like, Jones was supposed to crush OSP.
Yeah.
He was supposed to crush Glover Teixeira. And, like, he dominated those fights. But, like, we expected him because when Jones came out, he was just waxing everybody. And I mean, like, elite motherfuckers. But, like, since 2013, I mean, he's gone to a lot of decisions. He's only
but he just crushed DC and Gustafsson back-to-back.
Yeah, that's where I was going to.
This is true as well. But,
you know,
but those were known commodities for him. Both of those waxings were rematches. So, you know, John, he's a real methodical, intellectual fighter, and so it was the second time seeing them. That was what I was defending myself with, or defending him with.
I mean, it's all fair. I mean, Anthony Smith is probably not going to get a second title fight, so I don't think he's going to have a chance to play this one back. But
no, that was his Super Bowl. But, like, the card, it was like it alternated finishes and decisions. It was like finish, decision, and that kind of leads for, like, an okay kind of night that isn't capped off with something spectacular. Like, Jones being dominant is expected. Jones being dominant for 25 minutes just isn't fun.
Yeah.
Like, it's not fun. Sorry. And then, like, before that wasn't fun either. Like, Usman dominating Woodley for 25 minutes, like, cool. That's awesome and great for Usman, but, like, real low on the fun factor.
It would have been really fun for me if it had been followed by John Jones just absolutely blowing Anthony Smith out of the water. That's the thing. Sure. You need that palate cleanser. It'd be like, oh, no, I can appreciate the hell out of what Kamaru Usman just did. That was amazing. Now give me that, like, you know, I have slow drank that really nice, expensive scotch that I can barely, like, cringe my way through, but it's really peaty, and I'm, like, pretending I like it because it costs $50. Now just, you know, give me a bottle of some, like, give me a bottle of Johnny Walker, you know?
Yes.
Give me some exciting cheap shit that makes me just go, oh shit.
What a beautiful double entendre you just threw out there, Zane. That was beautiful.
That was gorgeous. That might deserve a performance bonus, Zane.
Yeah. What is it? A glowing star, or what do you call it?
I call them different things, you know.
Shining star.
Give him a Hawaiian shirt. There you go.
Yeah, give him a Hawaiian shirt. Oh, by the way, congratulations, Flying Brian, on becoming a father. We missed you last week. I was telling Zane how I'm glad to see someone who, like, I encourage them to reproduce is actually reproducing, because there's a lot of motherfuckers out there popping out babies that should not be popping out babies. So good to see someone who should actually be continuing the human race actually doing so.
I just use it as an excuse to make fun of you, but, you know, what are you going to do?
Well, this is true, too.
That's fine. Yeah, well, what'd you say? Just Brian showing off that he's actually been laid once?
Yeah.
Yes. A sex trophy.
At least once, yes.
You have forever have proof you've had sex at least one time.
Absolutely. Yeah, well, and what's interesting, my wife is from the same town as Anthony Smith, so I was kind of happy to see him get that Super Bowl that you mentioned. And,
oh, yeah.
And thank you for the congratulations. I'm really fucking tired, but I've never loved somebody this much in my life. It's weird how that kind of...
All right. All right. That's great. We're really happy for you. Yeah. Back to the fights.
Okay. You mentioned that the co-main event was not very fun, but it was, like, eye-opening, and it was shocking, but rather lame at the same time.
I mean, I don't think it was lame. It was just one of those things where you need other good things around it. It can't be surrounded by a bullshit Ben Askren bulldog choke call and then 5 rounds of Jones just kind of fucking around being like, what can I do with this? I don't know. Like, let's try some, like... at one point he was sitting on the ground in front of Anthony Smith and just, like, hitting him with other punches. Like, they were sitting face to face. And, you know,
like a kumbaya moment.
Yeah.
They're like whispering sweet nothings back and forth.
Like, Usman Woodley is a great fight if it's in between other great fights, because it's, you know, it's a really, like, Usman just fucking dominated Woodley. Like, I had that 50-42.
Yeah. Which rounds did you score 10-8s? Because I thought 2 through 5 could have been 10-8.
I think I said 2, 4, and 5.
Yeah, that was another utter destruction. I didn't think that Usman would come in there and be that dominant in the wrestling department to Woodley, because they've got similar backgrounds.
Yeah.
It was crazy. I didn't expect it either.
Yeah.
I was surprised, but Usman looked huge out there, right? Like, he looked big, he looked strong, he was fast, he knew what he wanted to do, and he just walked Woodley down and, you know, got the takedowns when they were there, and fucking did his thing up against the clinch, had really solid, dirty boxing. Those body shots were mean, and Woodley just wouldn't do shit about it. He just stood there and absorbed them all, and he just really went into his shell and couldn't throw any offense. And it much like Anthony Smith, they just kind of like went into survival mode, and then they just showed off why martial arts works as self-defense. And that's pretty much what they were doing out there, was self-defense.
Yeah, that's true. Let's talk about some actually good things on the card, like the moment where Robbie Lawler suplexed Ben Askren. That was fucking awesome. And when Pedro Munoz and Cody Garbrandt just decided to swing haymakers John Lineker style from 1 foot apart.
My heart soared just exactly in the same arc that Ben Askren's body described as it went through the air and his head hit the canvas. I was over the moon in that moment.
It was fucking awesome.
And, yeah.
I was almost certain that Askren's eyes rolled back in his head. I was almost sure that he went out and the fight was done, but for some reason it wasn't, and it kept going. And I'm like, okay, well, shit. What now? And then I see Askren get up, and I'm like, oh, fuck. Now here it goes. Here it comes. Here comes the wrestle fucking. And then the weirdness ensued, and things got wonky.
Yeah. I just, like, at least I got that moment. Honestly, I'm okay with the weirdness, because I didn't actually have to watch Robbie Lawler get the soul sucked out of him by 15 minutes of wrestling. Like, this is just some bullshit I can complain about, and that makes me much happier. I'd rather have some nonsense to be mad about than a whole, like, 15-minute memory of Robbie Lawler losing a fight.
I mean,
that's so true.
Who would have guessed that the first takedown landed of the fight would be a high-amplitude one by Robbie Lawler against Ben Askren?
Makes my heart happy.
It was the greatest takedown of Robbie Lawler's career.
Yeah.
Like, by far. And it was against Ben Askren, who's one of the best wrestlers that Lawler's ever faced.
Yeah.
Were you surprised that after Herb Dean called the fight over when there was no tap, Lawler wasn't sleeping, that Lawler was just like, ah, fuck it, Herb, it's okay, bud?
Well, he was pissed at first.
Well, for like a second, and then he was like, it's fine.
Second.
Yeah. I was surprised he was like Sam Alvey type of thing, you bitch for the next 10 minutes. Lawler actually, and Sam Alvey did not have grounds to be bitching. Robbie Lawler had definite grounds to be bitching, and he was like, "Hey, what the fuck? No, it's okay, Herb."
He's also professional. Like,
yeah, there's a reason that I am deeply in love with Robbie Lawler, and it's because of things like that. It's because he seems like a really chill dude all the time.
Except for when he's
amazingly violent.
Yeah, being a fucking savage against Rory McDonald.
Yep.
Yeah, that was
viciously savage. He's like the perfect combination of like savage and like chill. You know, like he's on both ends of the spectrum. There's no middle ground. He's either like super chill, laid back, or he's coming at you with the ferocity of hell. Like, it's a beautiful thing to watch.
It is.
Let's talk about one more positive thing that each one of you has, and then I can let you go for now. We're already 1 minute and 29 seconds past the deadline for you guys. Zane, give me one other topic to talk about. That's good.
I mean, I gotta love Pedro Munhoz beating Cody Garbrandt, because I called that thing down the line, and Garbrandt, like, man, he tested chins with Pedro Munhoz, and what a terrible idea.
In the post-fight interview, Munoz was like, I've never even been rocked in practice, and that guy just been knocked out twice in a row. So I just invited him into the phone booth. He accepted like a dumbass, and there he is, sleeping over there.
Yeah, that was lovely. That also made me happy. Not because I got anything against Cody Garbrandt, mind you. He's fun. He's a good fighter. I like watching him. But just, like, it was exactly the terrible fight he couldn't have with Pedro Munhoz.
And he almost didn't fight that fight. Like, he almost didn't do it, but he just couldn't help himself. He just said, fuck it, we're doing this.
There might have been a headbutt in there that, like, there was a moment where Pedro Munhoz lunged in for a left hook, and he may have clipped Garbrandt with his head, and I think Garbrandt was like complaining to the ref for a second, and that's when Munhoz jumped on him, and then like 30 seconds later, that's when Garbrandt popped up, and he's like furious, hits the flying knee, and is just like balls out. Let me prove that I'm the bigger man than you.
I am the alpha male.
Yeah.
And he's sleeping. Poor
so
guy.
yeah, that was great. Other than that, I mean, you just got the Johnny Walker thing, which is absurd and totally not. Like, I almost don't want to talk about it because it's just such nonsense.
Well, yeah, you said that he had a puncher's chance, but it was a flying knees chance.
Yeah, I mean, okay.
You didn't hold on, time out. You didn't pick Johnny Walker's name?
No, I picked Serkinov.
Dude, are you kidding me? We just got done talking about how at light heavyweight.
I know. I broke my own rules. We
just got done talking about this.
Shitty regional fights of his, and his like contenders fight and stuff like that. And I'm just like, he's still not really very good, is he? I'm picking Serkinov.
It doesn't matter if he's good.
I know that if Serkinov gives him like 10 seconds of space, Walker will absolutely knock him out.
Oh, how about the what the fuck of the card? Johnny Walker hurting his own shoulder, going for a high worm in this celebration.
Yeah.
He went for the salute into the worm. That's what
dislocated his shoulder with that shit.
What an
idiot. It's honestly just too on brand for him.
Just for the record, I believe it's official that Usman's first title defense will be against Colby Covington.
Oh yeah, yep.
So that should have a whole slew of what the fuck moments. I believe, and tiny megaphones.
Magaphones, yeah. Oh man.
Okay. I think that's the note we gotta be gone on.
Well, wait, Eddie could have a positive thing to talk about. What do you got?
Positive thing. I mean, Johnny Walker doing exactly what you're supposed to do at light heavyweight. If you're athletic and you want to fight for a belt,
dance to the cage like a stripper.
Just start waxing people like three up, three down. all
Yeah.
by first round finish.
Yeah, he's yet to log 5 minutes in the octagon. 3 fights in.
Yeah, so he's definitely my favorite, or not favorite, but definitely like a bright moment, and a bright moment for the division. But yeah, John Jones is the GOAT. I don't care. Fight me if you want to. Come see me. John Jones is the GOAT. There is no better fighter on the planet, in my personal opinion, than John Jones.
Of course, Eddie's going to be backing that up with some, special supplements to back up that John Jones all-time great talk.
Supplements or no supplements, John Jones is the GOAT.
I mean, he is extremely, extremely diverse and intelligent.
Oh, yeah.
Uses all of his weapons exactly how they should be used, or maybe even better than you could ever imagine. He's really good. I still think Anderson Silva's the GOAT because I'm a homer. See that?
He's Anderson Silva from Nebraska?
Anderson Braddock Silva, the kickboxer?
Yeah. Oh, okay, not a homer, but I'm a stan for.
Okay, that's fine.
For
I'm honestly fine either way. But anyway,
I mean, really, Fedor is the GOAT.
Okay,
for me.
Fuck Fedor.
We're trying to a whole different fight here.
Do the sign-off,
We got a whole other show to do.
Yeah.
All right, man. You sleepwalk your way through the rest of this, and then go take a nap if you can.
I think I have to go do bottle and diaper duty, but I will sleep sometime.
Okay, someday.
Raise that kid right so he doesn't rob me in 10, 15 years.
I'll do my best.
And I love the shirt, by the way. It is a good shirt.
It contrasts nicely with my background, so that's why we do it.
It brings out the eyes.
Thanks. Do the thing, Zane. Oh, Zane just left. You can follow.
My ride left. My ride's leaving me. I gotta go.
You can do the sign off if you want, Eddie. You can follow Eddie Mercado at the Eddie Mercado on Twitter.
Yeah, Zane at the Zane Simon. Find us both over at bloodyelbow.com. I actually have an interview coming out with Brian Ortega, so you can catch that over there as well. Catch us over at Bloody Elbow Presents. That's where we're hopping onto YouTube channel for the 6th round post-fight show. Be a good person. That's it. I'm out.
Later, Eddie. Thanks for being here. So for the rest of the show, for the next 13 minutes or so, I'm going to be your captain, the only co-host. You guys are going to be the only host. You guys are going to be my co-host, and we are going to talk about the rest of the results. Rob Amon is here for roster cuts. Mickey Gall and maybe Tyron Woodley goes to Bellator due to his beef with Dana White. Tool Slim says Anderson Silva from Nebraska is such a hilarious thing for Zane to say. And we got Dylan Glenn in the comment section talking some smack. Is he talking smack to me or somebody else in the comments? I'm going to let him be. He'll let me know. But let's talk about the rest of these results, and then we're going to get on and go to the post-fight press conference, because I always like to watch the post-fight press conference even after doing these post-fight shows. We already talked about the main event. John Jones defeated Anthony Smith 48-44 across the board because he got a 2-point deduction for kneeing Anthony Smith in the head, which it was in round number 4. It was a clear illegal strike for John Jones to land on Anthony Smith, and Smith said he's fine. He wants to continue on with the fight. In the post-fight interview, Joe Rogan said, hey, man, you really showed some character by continuing the fight after that. And Smith said, everybody here knows that I could have just sat through that and won via disqualification, but I don't want to get the belt that way. I don't want to steal it. I wanted to win it, not steal it. So that's respectful for Anthony Smith. I'm proud of the performance that Anthony Smith put on, even though he was basically in defense mode the whole time. Kamaru Usman defeated Tyron Woodley 50-44, 50-44, 50-45. I don't know how there weren't more 10-8 rounds in that. I mean, he just destroyed the former champion in Tyron Woodley. It was a thing of beauty. It seriously wasn't that tantalizing to watch. There were no ebbs, there were no flows, but it was a lot of fun. Ben Askren defeated Robbie Lawler, technical submission, bulldog choke. That was some bullshit. Weili Zhang defeated Tisha Torres 29-28, 30-27, 30-27. The only thing that I want to talk about there is Tisha Torres thought that she should have won at least more rounds. She gave a weird look when she lost 30-27 on 2 judges' scorecards, and I'm like, what the fuck? You think you won that fight, lady? There were a lot of head and arm throws, like happens often in MMA, where both women went for a head and arm throw, and Weili Zhang, whatever, was the bigger, stronger lady, and she got the better of like every one of those throws, and then you know, rained down a little bit of ground and pound on Torres. Before that, we talked about Pedro Munoz knocking out Cody Garbrandt in the first round. It's basically, like I said, Munoz invited Garbrandt to fight in the phone booth. Garbrandt obliged him and got knocked the fuck out. I thought it was just terrible fight IQ by Cody Garbrandt. Let's go back and talk about Rob Amon's roster cuts. He's always here, and I want to I want to talk about Rob Amon's roster cuts. So he talked about Tyron Woodley going to Bellator. I don't think that they could pay him. You know, honestly, it would be awesome to see him with a rematch against Rory MacDonald, but I don't think it's going to happen, Rob. I think we probably keep Tyron Woodley around. Woodley asked for a rematch sometime in the near future, and against Usman. I don't think that's happening because he just got his ass whooped, and Usman's going to defend the belt against Colby Covington. Rob says Askren versus Woodley, and that's not happening because Tyron Woodley and Ben Askren are good friends and training partners. Thanks for clarifying that, Dylan. Dylan Glenn is responding to my earlier thing, asking if he was talking shit about me or someone else in the comments. Said it was someone else in the comments. Thanks for clarifying that, man. I appreciate that. So he'll keep him around. We don't have a whole lot of time to talk. The bosses want me to keep this thing to about a half an hour, but I want to tell you that you can listen to the audio version of this show by searching for Fly and Brian Show wherever you get your podcast, and it's also going to be on the Bloody Elbow Presents podcast feed. So if you want to listen to either place, it's cool with me. But I want to invite you to tell me your post-fight bonuses, and we'll use your post-fight bonuses as a way to talk about the rest of these fights. While you guys get ready to tell me your post-fight bonuses, I'm going to find the real ones. Okay. Rob already said that he wanted to cut Mickey Gall. I don't think they're going to cut Gall. He had a lot of hype behind him coming in. He was a huge favorite to Diego Sanchez. But Gall ended up losing via TKO in the second round to the aging, whether he likes it or not, Diego Sanchez. Diego, in the post-fight interview after defeating Mickey Gall, said that he's set his sights on something else after fighting, and that is anti-aging. So after fighting, he's going to crush that. All right, bud. You good luck with that. You let me know how it goes. But the fight went a certain way. Mickey Gall came out after having said he was going to render Diego Sanchez unconscious in the first round. He came out guns a-blazing, and he was throwing big, looping, kind of clunky strikes at Diego. Diego was blocking him with his guard. That high kick, you know, properly blocked all over the place. And Gall kind of tired himself out with those strikes. Diego was able to wait for Mickey Gall to come in with a strike, got double underhooks, got Gall against the fence, got him to the ground, and then worked a little bit of ground and pound toward, like, in the latter half of the first round. Second round, Gall was already super fucking tired. Diego Sanchez, his corner said to him, "That dude's already broken. You go out there and you get this fucking victory, Diego, you crazy bastard." I'm paraphrasing, of course. Diego goes out there, absorbs some more of the goofy strikes from Gall. I think he even warded off a takedown attempt from Gall. And then he got his own takedown, transitioned to the mount on Gall, and proceeded to pound Gall the fuck out. Some elbows from the top position, and in that mount, Gall gave up his back, and then you know how they do it when they got the back mount, and they got the guy flattened out. Ground and pound TKO of Mickey Gall. It was awesome. It was absolutely phenomenal. So Diego Sanchez, he got an official post-fight bonus. Rob Amon says, Pedro the Young Punisher Munoz versus Aljamain the Funk Master Sterling should be next. I absolutely agree. That's what I said during the live play-by-play that I did during the main card portion. Absolutely think that's a fantastic fucking matchup, Rob. Good call on that. Sterling versus Pedro Munoz. Munoz called for a title shot, but I don't think that's happening. Right now, we got TJ Dillashaw as the bantamweight champion, even though he lost via knockout to Henry Cejudo his last time out. We've got the possibility that Cejudo fights Dillashaw at 135 pounds in an immediate rematch. There's that. Also, I think Marlon Moraes deserves a title shot for sure. He fucking destroyed Jimmy Rivera, destroyed Aljamain Sterling, and just crushed Rafael Assunção in a rematch. Three in a row, looking like a world beater. I think he deserves a title shot for sure. And Munoz has a list of guys ahead of him that deserve title shots more than he. And since the similar timing, Aljamain Sterling just won like 2 weeks ago against Jimmy Rivera. Munoz tonight, I think that's a perfect matchup to make. Mitch Max says bonuses go to Walker. Demotions go to JBJ. Give that man steroids so we can watch entertaining fights again. And then put Diego in the Hall of Fame. Paid programming says I would prefer Usman versus Covington, but watch them make Usman versus Askren. Paid programming, I think it's official. They actually did announce that Usman's first title defense would be against the former interim champion in Chaos, Colby Covington. Eris La Salsa says no IQ, or no love, more like low IQ. Yeah, Cody Garbrandt's fight IQ is nearly nothing, nearly non-existent. Fight of the night went to Garbrandt versus Munoz. It was an entertaining bout. That's the official. The official bonuses were Johnny Walker and Diego Sanchez, and the fight of the night was Garbrandt versus Munoz. I don't think that there was this night of fights. We came in with a lot of hype. UFC 235 was a good fight card on paper. It didn't turn out that great. But for Garbrandt versus Munoz to be fight of the night, it was an entertaining 4 minutes or whatever, 4 minutes and 52 seconds. I just don't think that level of fight should be the fight of the night. I would give post-fight bonuses to, like, why not give post-fight bonuses to, like, everybody that got a finish? Except for Ben Askren. So, Pedro Munoz, give him a post-fight bonus. Johnny Walker, post-fight bonus. Diego Sanchez, a post-fight bonus. Edmund Shabazian and Maisel Chiasson, post-fight bonus. Chiasson. Let's talk about Johnny Walker versus Misha Cirkunov. Let's talk about that now. Marcus McGahee says Zabit Magomed Sharipov versus Jeremy Lil Heathen Stevens should have been fight of the night, and performance bonuses go to Johnny Walker, Pedro Munoz, and Macy Chiasson. Chiasson? Chiasson? It's French or something. I can't say it that well. And Marcus here is aware, thanks Marcus, I appreciate you, bud, that because we're not actually giving anybody any money at all, we're giving out 5 post-fight bonuses because it's not our money. We're not doing it. It's for fun. So yeah, I would give post-fight bonuses to Munoz, Walker, Sanchez, Shabazian, and Chiasson. Everybody got to finish, get a little extra money. Casey Johnson says Walker versus John Jones next. I was hoping in the post-fight interview Walker would call out Johnny Bones, or the winner of the main event of the evening. But after he dislocated his shoulder doing a salute to the worm, he might be out for 6 months, fucked up his own shoulder. But the fight, let's talk about it. Walker versus Cirkunov. They came out, and Cirkunov feinted with the hips a lot, feinted with the hips, feinted with his strikes, feinted with his shoulders, probably did a pec bounce like Arnold Schwarzenegger. Did so much feinting that he didn't even need to throw a strike to set up a flying knee that ended up crushing Misha Cirkunov. The first strike that he actually threw with any intention, Walker hit Misha Cirkunov with a flying knee. Cirkunov hit the canvas, and Walker followed up with some strikes on the ground. One of them hit the back of the head, I think, but other than that, clean stoppage. And we didn't get to see a lot of personality from Walker in the post-fight interview because of the frickin' how he hurt himself. Anyway, what's next for Johnny Walker? Let's look at the rankings. I don't think we're going to give him to Johnny Bones, but I think that John Jones might have a lack of contenders at this weight class. I think really you give John Jones Thiago Santos next. And while we give Thiago Santos a title shot against Johnny Bones, we have Johnny Walker fight somebody like, Jan Blachowicz. Actually, Johnny Walker versus Alexander Gustafsson. Book it. Book that shit right now. Lock it in. Somebody said it earlier. You have to book that fight. Johnny Walker, Alexander Gustafsson, book it right now. Walker has some British heritage, or he's lived in Britain for a while. That's why, but he's Portuguese. Anyway, you could do it as a UK headliner with Gustafsson, and I think that Johnny Walker knocks out Alexander Gustafsson. It'll be lined really tight. Gustafsson might be the favorite, but I would bet money on Johnny Walker. JV says Walker versus Reyes, and he means Dominic Reyes. He said Diego. I got you, bud. I got you covered. Rockhold at 205 pounds might be interesting for Jones. I don't think so. Coming into this fight against Anthony Smith, I think it was Mike Bond from MMAJunkie.com said that this was the first time in Jon Jones's career that he had fought somebody, or at least in the last 20 fights, that Jon Jones had fought somebody younger than he. So instead of giving the known commodities, I'm kind of done with Jon Jones fighting known commodities. The Daniel Cormier, Alexander Gustafsson of the world. Let's give them surging younger contenders, guys that were relatively unknown, so we can have the Rocky moment, and someone who might be able to give him a formidable challenge. Someone like Thiago Santos versus Jon Jones it sounds really fun. It really does. Huh. What else do we need to talk about? Zabit Magomedsharipov defeated Jeremy Little Heathen Stevens, unanimous decision, 29-28 across the board. Honestly, guys, I didn't watch that fight. My wife was having a difficult time with my son at the time. While that fight was happening, my wife was having a difficult time. He was fussy, and she couldn't get him to not be fussy. It was frustrating her. You know, being a new parent isn't easy. It's awesome. I love it so much. I love my son to death. It's not the easiest thing, you know, to adapt to. So anyway, I knowing that I was going to be busy for the next 4 hours or so, I decided to not watch Zabit versus Jeremy Stevens, and I tried to soothe my son. So I'm sorry for not watching it. I don't know what to tell you about that fight. Way down in the early prelims, Edmund Shabazian defeated Charles Byrd. Shabazian is Glendale Fight Club, you know, Ronda Rousey. He's managed by Ronda Rousey, actually. He used the Travis Brown elbows to knock out Charles Byrd in 38 seconds. And even in his post-fight interview, he said, "Thank you, Travis Brown, for teaching me that technique." Pretty neat there. And before that, Macy Chiasson defeated Gina Mazzani TKO punches at 1:44. The main thing that I want to say about that is you know me, I hate goofy sounds that happen during fights. And Chiasson said, "Bah, bah, bah," every time she threw a strike. Bah, 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 bah. And it was so fucking annoying. Sure, she got the first round technical knockout, but man, it was bothering me. Of course, she won the Ultimate Fighter at featherweight. Now she's fighting at women's bantamweight, and she's a big bantamweight, so maybe she can do something special in this division. Anyway, Mitch Mack, Edmund, she's knocking out the guys, elite level striking. Rob Amon says Stevens is a newly minted gatekeeper. I think Jeremy Stevens is... Actually, Rob, I think Jeremy Stevens has been a gatekeeper for a while now. He's now on a 2-fight losing streak. Magomedsharipov has yet to lose in the UFC. He hasn't lost since 2013. He lost via armbar. But, yeah. What's next for Zabist? Let's see. The featherweight rankings have Zabist at the number 13 spot. I'd like to see him versus Mirsad Bektic. Has Bektic got something lined up? I don't know. It's hard to tell because the new UFC website is fucking garbage. It is purely and simply a piece of shit. Yeah. Well, Anyway, yeah, I'd like to see Bektic versus Beast. I think that makes a lot of sense. Rob says that Ruthless Robbie should go to 185 pounds. I tend to disagree. He doesn't seem like he has a bad weight cut. Does he? Light welterweight rankings. Robbie Lawler. Has Robbie Lawler ever fought Damian Maia? I don't know, but fuck it. Put Lawler in there against Damian Maia. I like it. Book that shit. Anyway, I'm gonna get out of here, guys. Let's go. Let's all go watch the post-fight press conference. Follow me on Twitter at FlyingBrianJ. Send me a DM. Say that you came there from here, and I'll be good friends with you. I'm sorry, Julian. Julian Perez has a good question about Woodley's performance, and I don't have time to answer it. I apologize, but I'll get back to you on that. I'll see you guys next week for a post-fight show on UFC Fight Night 146 or UFC on ESPN Plus 4, headlined by Derek the Black Beast Lewis versus Junior Dos Santos. Co-main event, Elijah Zaleski Dos Santos versus Curtis Millender. It's going to be a great fucking time. I'll see you guys then. Thank you so much for being here. Please thumb the video up. Thumb it up. Please thumb it up. Please so much. And subscribe to the channel, and I'll see you next time. Namaste.